Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Young here and welcome to What is Destiny? The simple answer is that Destiny is the next big project from Bungie, the developer responsible for acclaimed video game series Halo. The more complex answer, however, may still have people scratching their heads. Well, do not fear. I have gathered all the bits and pieces of information scattered all over the internet about Destiny and put it all together into one neat package. At first sight, it looks like another first-person shooter. Some may say it looks like Halo with a new coat of paint, but underneath the skin lies a project like no other. Now, before we get into all the technical details about the game, let's talk about the story, undoubtedly one of the most interesting aspects of the game. The story begins around 700 years into the future with the arrival of an entity simply known as the Traveler, a giant spherical alien ship hovering above the surface of the Earth. This celestial body is what enabled humans to travel to space in ways previously unimaginable. Humanity scattered across the solar system, settling in other worlds and colonizing other planets. Thus arrived many years of prosperity, a time known as the Golden Age. But this time of peace did not last. Humanity experienced a mysterious and catastrophic event known as the Collapse, which left humanity on the brink of extinction. The last remaining humans, survivors of the collapse, reside on the last city on Earth, slowly built from what remained under the shadow of the Traveler, which continues to shield humanity. In their attempt to repopulate and reconstruct, the remaining humans soon discover that their planet is now inhabited by uninvited guests, hostile creatures and alien species that have colonized cities and civilizations around the world. Danger is constant as these creatures relentlessly strive to stamp out humanity for good. Only the last city remains under the protection and watch of the ominous second moon known as the Traveler. Apart from enabling humans to reach the stars and protecting them from extinction, the Traveler has also granted certain individuals with mysterious powers. These individuals are the last defenders of the human race, known as Guardians of the City. With humanity cornered and pushed to a wall, it is up to the Guardians to push back and reclaim Earth. The player will assume the role of one of these Guardians and will aid in defending and saving the human race. This leads us right into gameplay. Players will look through the eyes of their customized Guardian in first-person view. As mentioned before, at its core, the game is a first-person shooter sci-fi epic. While Bungie is trying to create something fresh and innovative, they are still playing to their strengths. Differences you will notice in this game compared to Halo is a myriad of RPG and MMO elements. Before players begin to play, they will choose the look and class of their hero. However, unlike many MMOs, players will not have a choice of species or race. They will strictly remain human. Thus far, Bungie has officially revealed 3 classes: the Hunter, the Warlock, and the Titan. The Hunter, with its slender figure, will obviously be the discreet class, killing enemies unseen or from afar. The Hunter is the equivalent to a sniper or an assassin class. The Warlock is what many would call the equivalent of a mage, relying less on brute force and more on the mysterious powers given by the Traveler. The Warlock makes a formidable foe. Last but not least is the Titan, the equivalent of a soldier. Likely relying on the powers of the Traveler to strengthen the body and the weapons it wields, in the end the Titan will rely on firepower to demolish enemies. Now do keep in mind, there are other classes that have yet to be revealed. In fact, there may be a class named Vanguard mentioned in one of IGN's in-depth articles. Whether this is a typo or was written in deliberately, we don't know yet. The Vanguard has yet to be officially announced, but still remains a likely candidate for one of many classes. Customization goes deeper once players have picked the base look and class. Players will often be rewarded for their accomplishments and find tons of loots such as gear, helmets, armors, capes, and face pieces, along with unique weapons scattered around the world. The world itself is also a huge aspect of the game. A selling point of the world is that it is persistent and it is online. However, Bungie is keen on insisting that their new game is not an MMO. Instead, Bungie is calling Destiny a, quote, shared world shooter. One key difference compared to an MMO is that there's no such thing as a subscription fee, thank God. However, the Destiny series is planned for a 10-year life cycle, so do expect them to charge for all the extra content that will be released after the game's launch. The main game, however, once you purchase it, it's yours, period. No extra fees. Furthermore, players won't be interacting with every player online on a server as is traditional with most MMOs. Instead, players will be seamlessly matched with others as they play. There's no submenu for matchmaking. Players simply dive in and the smart matchmaking system will do the rest. This means that as you tackle a quest and maybe find yourself in a lot of trouble, another player may stumble upon your situation and help you out. Then, these players can choose to team up, become friends, or go about their own separate ways. It is not known how many players can be matched at a time, but expect a bare minimum of 3 players, since 4 players total has always been sort of the magic number when it comes to co-op. Now, this does not mean that players are forced to play with others. They can choose to go adventuring on their own as if it were a single-player game, but the game will require constant internet connection. But yes, folks, bottom line, the world is online. To further reinforce the idea of a living, breathing world players are constantly connected to, Destiny is being integrated with devices such as smartphones and tablets. Players will be able to check out stats, get notices of certain events, and communicate with friends as they play. Through this Destiny app, players will be constantly updated on this virtual world. Sounds pretty cool. We will have to wait and see how well these apps will be integrated and how useful they will end up being. Bungie is also paying extra attention to make sure that the world players inhabit feels like it is alive. They are even removing what most of us know as the main menu. As soon as players boot up the game, the world will instantly be there, living and breathing for players to dive right into. The developers go as far as to say that the world they are creating is so dynamic that they won't always be in full control of it. Things are going to happen in this world that the developers don't plan, which makes the game all the more exciting. They want players to have a different experience every time they play the game. And speaking of the world, players won't just be limited to staying on planet Earth. They will travel across the stars to moons and other planets within the solar system. Bungie has already revealed concept arts of worlds such as Mars and our moon, which look fantastic with an awesome futuristic vibe. To travel across these worlds, players will be given spaceships. That's right, every individual player can own a spaceship. It is still unknown whether players will have one base spaceship as their baby to customize, or if players will be upgrading ships by buying entirely new ones. My personal assumption is that ships will work like cars. There are many models to choose from, some better than others, some with certain advantages over others, and once purchased, players can fine-tune them to a degree, and eventually when they earn the cash, they will be able to buy a better model, maybe even trade in their previous one. Now this is just my speculation, so don't take it to heart. Regardless, the point is, you will be riding your own spaceship. Unfortunately, very little was revealed about how players will be experiencing space travel. Will players be getting to other planets in a similar fast travel fashion to Mass Effect? Or will players go all Star Fox on Space's ass? According to Bungie, there will be some kind of spaceship gameplay, but very little information was shared about it. So hopefully by now the dust has cleared enough to get a decent picture of what this game is. A shared world first-person shooter with a living, breathing world, which players are constantly connected to that seamlessly matches players who play through the eyes of fully customizable defenders of the Earth known as Guardians. However, I'm sure a lot of you guys still have many questions when it comes to core gameplay. How open are these worlds? Will we be interacting with NPCs? If so, will we have dialogue options? How much choice does the game allow, and how much do these choices influence the outcome of scenarios within the game? How will players be receiving missions or quests? Will players level up or have access to some kind of skill tree? What's the user interface like? How will looting and inventory management work? Will players be limited by attributes such as health and mana? How will skills and powers given to players by the Traveler be used? All we truly know right now is that you'll go around shooting stuff with others to save humanity. Essentially, we have all the pieces, but the glue that brings them all together, the core gameplay, is the one thing that Bungie has yet to fully unveil. So for now, unfortunately, these are questions we must still ask until Bungie decides to unveil more. Now if this helps, based on what IGN has seen, they say that the game reminds them of the baby PlanetSide 2, Borderlands 2, and Halo had after a threesome. Okay, well, they didn't word it that way, but essentially a combination of those 3 games and then some. Regardless, I hope that this video has helped in answering the question, what is Destiny? Right now, Destiny is just a concept. Hopefully Bungie can take these ambitious concepts and make them reality and keep this reality alive. for their goal of 10 years. We still don't have a release date, but expect the game to be out for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, and the next Xbox. No PC version, unfortunately. I'll be sure to keep you guys further updated on Destiny, so be sure to join the NASIAN and subscribe to Young Yeah. I also cover other AAA franchises and will soon start reviewing games. Furthermore, look forward to my game cinemas, such as the upcoming Skyrim movie Dragonborn, coming out on summer of 2013. So what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and join the NASIAN, because every gamer needs an Asian. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much, and Young out.